So today's topic is about the biggest rivalry of Formula One. That's right, it's all about Red Bull versus Mercedes. Or would it not be wrong to say Verstappen versus Hamilton? How are things going? And what new events happened in their ongoing drama of collision? As we all know, recently there was a controversy going on between them. But do you know this is not about a single event? It's a continuing series of events that add up to this dramatic rivalry. We will now be going through the events where there has been a collision between Red Bull and Mercedes. Was this drama that was there from the get-go, or is it a temporary thing? What is the reason behind their rivalry? How do fans react when such clashes happen? All these questions will be answered in this video, and moreover, we'll see the recent events that have taken the drama to the next level. And it should come as no surprise that Red Bull and Mercedes dislike each other, especially after the 2021 Formula One season. We've seen this demonstrated on numerous occasions, such as after the season in Abu Dhabi, where both teams protested the FIA's decision and claimed that the World Drivers' Championship was theirs. But when did this rivalry begin? And was it just a temporary thing that happened during one of these seasons? Let's get started and examine all the dynamics between these two teams. The Mercedes-AMG Formula One team has a lengthy history in the sport, having competed in the 5th edition of the championship in 1954. They raced until 1955 when they withdrew from the series due to a crash at Le Mans that sadly killed 84 people. After being an engine supplier for more than 5 years, they got back into the Formula One fairly recently in 2010 when they bought the Brawn GP. This rookie team only lasted a year, which earned Jenson Button his own only F1 Drivers' Championship for $175.7 million. Torger Christian Wolff, better known as Toto Wolff, is an Australian investor and ex-racing driver who was requested to invest in this new team and serve as its principal, a deal to which he agreed. He still owns 30% of the team to this day and has no plans to sell a share. Since the moment he started putting the team together, it has won 7 drivers' titles from 2014 to 2020 and 8 constructors' titles from 2014 to 2021. On the other hand, the Red Bull has been in Formula One a lot longer than Mercedes. However, their time in the sport hasn't always been that great. They arrived in the sport after purchasing the Jaguar F1 team for £1 approximately £1.50 today. The team was struggling financially, so they sold for that price in the hopes of returning to the top when they relaunched, which they accomplished. While the team led 2 laps of a Grand Prix, the Red Bull 1 led over 3,000. It is not rare for a team to sell at that amount. Another example is Honda, when it was bought by Brawn. In 2009, Red Bull originally tried to use engines from other manufacturers. It used Cosworth in 2005 and Ferrari in 2006. From 2007 to 2018, it used Renault engines rebranded after 2015 to tag Hoya. When all of the relationships between the team and car manufacturers were broken, they then used Honda from 2019 to 2021. But since it left the sport, they are now using proprietary powertrains from their Red Bull Powertrains division. Honda is still manufacturing these engines, and the recent contract states it will last until 2050. Talking about Red Bull, there has always been one team principal, the one and only Christian Horner. He has always been the best team principal the team could have ever had, remaining calm even in tense times. He has raised 2 world champions, Sebastian Vettel and Max Verstappen, who have gone on to become dominant figures in their respective sports. These two teams' connections have never been particularly strong. They were both rumored to be the successors of Bernie Ecclestone's F1's boss, and neither of them got that role. When neither of them got that role, they both started blaming each other for their own success. Then things heated up again between the two teams when Niki Lauda left Jaguar to follow Hamilton's career and went to Mercedes instead of remaining with Red Bull. The relationship is probably among the worst between any two teams in this sport. If you pay attention to how teams treat their rivalry against Ferrari, it's pretty clear that the two don't like each other. If there could be a Cold War between F1 teams, these two could be the ones to do it. But why are we talking about this if it's just something that only happened during the 2021 season? The feud was going on since the beginning of the hybrid era. Mercedes finally found a competitor in the Drivers' Championship, so there was a close battle for the title which ended up favoring Max Verstappen in what we all know is the most controversial season finale possibly ever. But it wasn't only the season finale that sparked a lot of hate amongst the two teams' fans. In the first occasion of the season, we first saw this happen. It started during the 2021 Bahrain Grand Prix when Max Verstappen overtook Lewis Hamilton for the lead of the race with 4 wheels off the track. That sparked a back and forth between Mercedes and the FIA until the federation deemed that overtake illegal and forced the Red Bull driver to give back the position gained. Again, during the 2021 Spanish Grand Prix, Mercedes started accusing Red Bull of having a rear wing that was too flexible and gave their car an advantage. Christian Horner responded by accusing Mercedes' front wing of being too flexible. From there onwards, every race was just another series of complaints to the FIA about something the other team did, just like 2 children arguing over a toy and each one going to the teacher to get it back. We know there were a lot of instances where heftier penalties should have been given, like in Silverstone, where Max Verstappen was sent flying into a wall with a force of 51 Gs. Still, Lewis was only given a 10-second stop-and-go penalty, despite which he won the race. It was a nasty clash. The wheels came out and the car came off the track. Also, during the Italian Grand Prix in 2021 at Monza, Verstappen and Hamilton clashed badly during the race. It was over Lewis Hamilton's car damaging and crashing over. Again, we can see this continued in Saudi when Verstappen did a starting test at the exit of the pit lane. But he wasn't penalized in any way, or even again when Lewis blocked Mazepin on his flying lap in FP1 in Abu Dhabi. He wasn't reprimanded. It's clear that this is a sport with a lot of rules that should still be respected by all drivers who don't always deserve a penalty. So it's safe to say that the teams don't like each other at all. But has it always been like this? No, not really. Despite the occasional fight between the 2 teams' principals, the teams were on the same level in any other season. So they never had the problem of having to talk dirty about each other to get the advantage. The worst thing about this is the fans' reactions. Every time something bad happens to their favorite team, they repeatedly harass opposing fans, even in harmful ways. For example, after the Silverstone crash, Lewis Hamilton was given death threats by Verstappen fans. In an interview, Christian said he was so upset at what happened in the UK that he willingly promoted harassing Hamilton and Mercedes on social media. He is to be excused for that since he reacted with that thinking rationally, as he was just given a $1.3 million bill to pay to get the car back together. But it's not restricted to racing time, as even the launch of the Red Bull RB19 was a controversial launch of the car. Here's hoping that they'll manage to show us fans a spectacle without smashing each other's cars. So, what do you think? Is the rivalry between Mercedes and Red Bull a bit too much? Will we see this kind of relationship in the near future? If you like the video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Until next time, we'll see you all.